NHL regular season recap night 74, 14 games tonight, so we're ripping the Band-Aid right off with this Capitals game. They lose to the New York Rangers by a final score of 5-1. Anthony Mantha with the lone goal for Washington, while for the Rangers it's Miller, Panarin, Schneider, a second for Miller, and Alexis Lafreniere. Miller actually did have an assist as well. 3 points for him. He had a really good night. Igor Shesterkin, 27-28 for Darcy Kemper. It's just 26 of 31, so not a great night from him. But from the Rangers, it was a very solid all-around night. Played a pretty complete game, and the 5-1 win is pretty showing of that. The Blue Jackets taking on the New Jersey Devils, and this game was very back and forth, literally until the final goal. Jake Bean opens the scoring for Columbus, but a few minutes later, Andre Palat ties it at 1. In the second, Justin Danforth scores again for Columbus, making it 2-1, before Mercer ties it a second time in the third. Chinnikov makes it a lead once again for Columbus with just 2.5 to play, but a minute later, Luke Hughes goes end-to-end with a rip of a shot to tie us with a minute 30 to play, and in the overtime, Timo Meier with the game winner for this one. It's a must-need win for the Devils. They get it done. Columbus continues to struggle in the Metro, while the Devils are now 18-13-2 and still trying to climb up this tough division standings. The Battle of Ontario, Toronto taking on the Ottawa Senators, and it was all Leafs in the first period. They outscore the Sens 2-0, Matthew Nyes and Tyler Bertuzzi. They also outshoot Ottawa 12-6, but from there on out, it's pretty much all Sens. In the second period, Parker Kelly and Drake Batherson both score to tie the game, and in the third, Batherson with his second of the night, as well as captain Brady Tkachuk, make it a 4-2 final in favor of Ottawa. Jonas Korpisalo, despite his iffy first period, had a very good game overall. 34-36 for a .944 save percentage in the victory. Martin Jones just 26-29 in the losing effort. From a battle up north to a battle down south, we have the Battle of Florida. The Panthers taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning, and this one was also pretty entertaining and back and forth. The Cats do score the first two goals. It's Aaron Ekblad and Sam Reinhart with his 20th of the year already. But in the third, the Bolts make it interesting. Kucherov, just 30 seconds in, makes it 2-1. Sam Reinhart extends the lead, about 2.5 minutes later to make it 3-1. Asimont, though, just 20 seconds after Reinhart's goal, makes it a 3-2 game for the rest of the third period. The Bolts unable to tie this one up. Sergei Bobrovsky, very, very good. 27-29 for him, a .931 save percentage. And a big win for Florida, who continues to make a bit of a gap here between third and fourth in the Atlantic Division standings, which will be big once it comes time for that last playoff race. The Penguins taking on the New York Islanders, and this one through the first period looked like it was going to be a snooze fest, but then the second period happens. 6 Pittsburgh Penguins goal, 5 of which Chris Letang had assists on. That's the first time, I believe, in NHL history that a defenseman has scored 5 assists in a period. He also threw an extra one on in the third on Pustinen's goal to make it 7-0 Pittsburgh. That's how the scoreline would stand. Obviously, Sorokin not great in this one, stopping 19 of 25. Varlamov does give up the one in the third in relief. Tristan Jarry with his, I believe, 4th shutout of the year. He goes 22 for 22 and a massive win for Pittsburgh. The Sabres taking on the Boston Bruins, and despite a pretty solid effort from Buffalo, this game went about exactly as you'd expect. In the first period, it's Mason Lohrei and Charlie Coyle making it 2-0 Boston. In the second, Charlie Coyle with his second of the game, followed by another from Morgan Geekie, make it 4-0 Bees. Headed to the third, Eric Johnson does tack one on to ruin the shutout bid for Jeremy Swayman, but not quite enough here. It's a 4-1 victory for Boston. Swayman on that shutout bid goes 25 for 26, a .962 save percentage, while Devin Levi struggles a bit once again. 21 of 25 for an .840 save percentage. I've said it over and over again. I feel like I'm just repeating myself every video I make, but Buffalo needs all the points they can get if they're going to make the playoffs, and it just doesn't seem like it's happening right now. The Dallas Stars taking on the St. Louis Blues, and this Blues team continues to just be strange and hard to predict. The Stars coming into this game first in the Central, 29-4 after this game. The Blues 6th in the Central, 18-15-1. Sometimes their goaltending is great, sometimes it's terrible. Tonight it was fantastic. Joel Hofer gets the start, stops 39 of 40 for a .975 save percentage, and the Blues win this one 2-1. Jake Neighbors and Marco Scandella with the 2 goals for them. Robertson does cut the lead to 1 in the second, but no second goal to be had from Dallas. They could not tie this one up. Scott Wedgwood was also very good. He stops 28 of 30, but hard to score if your team scores just the one, and that was exactly the case for him. A great effort from Joel Hofer. He's the first start tonight. It's a 2-1 victory for St. Louis. The Minnesota Wild taking on the struggling Detroit Red Wings, and it's hard to believe that this game was only 2-1 headed to the third, because the final score was 6-3 in favor of the Wild. That's right, a 6-goal third period between both teams ends up finalizing this one. The first, it's Matt Boldy and Patrick Kane, who's been playing pretty well offensively once again since coming to Detroit. In the second, Mojo Marcus Johansson, with just his third of the year, makes it 2-1 Minnesota before an absolute pop of offense in the third. DeBrincat, Hartman, Foligno, Johansson with a second, Sprong, and then Kaprizov all score in the third, marking the 6-3 final. Neither goalie was good in this one, but James Reimer especially was pretty rough. Just 25 of 31 barely above an 800 save percentage at 806. Gustafsson, 25 of 28 for an 893. Neither goalie was great, but Gus gets the job done. It's a 6-3 win for Minnesota. The Predators taking on the Carolina Hurricanes, and this game was another kind of weird one. Usually you expect Carolina to struggle to get goaltending, but, dominate on the shots. The coin was flipped tonight, so Carolina gets outshot by Nashville, 37-25, but they win the game 5-2, and Pyotr Kochetkov stops 35 of 37 for a 946 save percentage, while UC Saros just 14 of 19 for a 737. In the first, it's Aho and Burns. The second, Gus Nyquist, Andrei Svechnikov, Ryan O'Reilly, Jack Drury, and Seth Jarvis, all goal scorers there. Yaroslav Askarov comes in relief in the third. He stops all 6 Carolina shots, but no goals are scored there, so it remains a 5-2 final in favor of the Canes, who finally got some goaltending. It's about damn time. The Blackhawks taking on the Winnipeg Jets, and this one ended up being both pretty entertaining as well as a good goalie duel. And why not throw 2 Connor Bedard goals in to sweeten the pot a bit? In the first period, of course, Bedard with his 14th of the year from Kurashev and Murphy. In the second, Morgan Barron ties it, his 6th of the season from Tony Nano and Janssen Fjallby. And then in the overtime, once again, it's Bedard right off the rush. I don't know if there was a screen provided there by the Winnipeg defenseman, but beats Connor Hellebuyck clean. A nice little snap wrister from him makes it a 2-1 victory in overtime for the Hawks. Both goalies very good. Peter Mrazek just a bit better, though. Hellebuyck stops 23 of 25. Mrazek stops 37 of 38. Both well above a 900 save percentage. Hellebuyck with a 920, Mrazek with a 974 in the victory. The Avalanche taking on the Arizona Coyotes, and this was a tough pill to swallow for Avs fans. They go up 4-0 at one point in this game. In the first, it's Mikko Rantanen. Then in the second, it's Drouin, O'Connor, and McKinnon before Lawson Krause makes it 4-1, and we head to the third with the scoreline being that. In the third, though, Michael Kessering from Sean Durzi, Jason Zucker from Logan Cooley, and another Sean Durzi assist, and then Sean Durzi with a goal of his own from Michelli and Krause forces overtime, where Jack McBain, of all people, scores the overtime game-winning goal. Durzi with another point on this one. He had a very good night, but this is a stinger for the Avs, man. Georgiev gives up 5 goals on 27 shots. Vejmelka 4 on 24. Neither goalie played all that great, but of course Vejmelka just good enough for the victory, and a strong effort from the Coyotes, who had to come all the way back from 4-0 down, so kudos to them, but this one sucks for the Avs. The Seattle Kraken taking on the Calgary Flames in a battle between 4th and 5th in the Pacific Division. And Chris Drieger with his first start of the season tonight, and he was fantastic, stopping 37 of 38, just like Peter Mrazek in the previous game. Jacob Markstrom stopping 19 of 21. The goals in this one from Yamamoto and Kadri in the first, and then Alex Wenberg in the third about 6 minutes in. And that would stand as the game winner. I didn't get to watch too much of this one, admittedly, but glad to see Chris Drieger playing well in his first game. It seems like it's been forever since we've really seen a lot of him. We'll see if he gets some more starts with the absence of Philip Grubauer. Of course, I would expect Joey Decord in the Winter Classic, considering the number of games he's played so far this year, but time will tell. For now, though, it's a big 2-1 victory for the Kraken. The Ducks taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Ducks pick up a surprise victory in this one, largely thanks to a very strong first period. Leeson, Drysdale, Vetrano, and Terry all scoring in the first. In the second, it's Martinez, Stone, and then Leeson with his second. There would be no further scoring in the third, so the game final is 5-2. John Gibson going 30 for 32 tonight. Logan Thompson, not so great, 21 of 26 and 808 save percentage for him. Good win for the Ducks. Again, they're not really playing for too much at this point. I don't think they're crawling their way back into the postseason, race. But for the Golden Knights, still second in the Pacific, 21-10-5. Tough loss for them, but I'm sure they'll rebound. Final game of the night, the San Jose Sharks taking on the Los Angeles Kings. In this game, unlike the last one, went about exactly as you'd expect, aside maybe from Fabian Zetterlund scoring the first goal of the game, and from there it's pretty much all Kings. They only faced 25 San Jose shots. They take 43 of their own and score 5. In the second, it's Fiala, Lewis, and Dubois. In the third, Kempe scores 2, his 10th and 11th of the season. Dave Riddick with the start in this one. He stops 24 of 25 for a 960 save percentage. Capo Kakinen, despite giving up 5, actually played pretty well. 38 of 43 and 884 save percentage in the losing effort. And that's it for NHL regular season recap night 74. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I believe just a handful of games for night 75.